Got Your Back Pod Stream is brought to you by Mr. Dirk. From casual wear to suits and formals, Mr. Dirk helps you find the perfect fit with the right look for any occasion. Step up your wardrobe at MrDirk.com. Oh boy, they just can't get out of their own way, can they? The Oilers with plenty of self-inflicted wounds, and they drop one to one of the worst teams in the National Hockey League. 3-2 the final score in a mistake-filled game against the Buffalo Sabres. Welcome to Got Your Back, folks. Looking forward to breaking this one down. We got Struddy, we will have Brownie, we got Zuby, and we are ready to rock and roll. Thanks so much for joining us on the live stream or downloading the podcast. Thrilled to have you along for the ride. Our show is always presented by our title sponsor, Play Alberta. Why choose Play Alberta? Well, just ask any hockey fan who loves odds boosts and player props and same-game parlays, or slots players who love the massive jackpots, or lottery players that can grab last-minute tickets on the go. Deposit today. Get a $50 free bet with the code GYB03. That is GYB03 at playalberta.ca. Coming at you from our Adrenaline Diesel studio. They got an all-new 24/7 mobile service truck ready for roadside emergencies, scheduled repairs, and expert diagnostics anytime, anywhere. For service truck emergencies, call 780-907-1965, extension 119. Adrenaline Diesel's got your back with that mobile service truck. Good evening, gentlemen. Zuby, you were on the chat early. People were firing comments. I have a feeling that we're going to be talking about a combination of goaltending, Evan Bouchard, and goalposts. Is that a bit of a relevant cross-section of the comments, buddy?
I think those are pretty good spoilers. Yes, if you were going to spoil the early chat, those would be a good place to start.
Misleading.
Struds,
those are misleading. Those are completely wrong.
Okay.
I think that there's another game that I'm going to challenge listeners and you and Brownie and Zoobs about. I think that's the low-hanging fruit, picking that off there. I think it's what I'm going to talk about. Those are the byproduct of what I'm going to discuss. And it was really rough tonight, really rough and poor by the Oilers team this area of their game.
Oh, I can't wait. I love it when you do that, Struds. Yeah, he just kind of teases us.
Yeah.
Makes me look forward to the breakdown. Because the rest of us come wandering in here thinking that we know exactly what the storyline's going to be, and then Uncle Struddy just drops the hammer with the real deal. I love it.
Were those spicy noodles, Struds, you were getting going? Or were the noodles spicy to get you amped up here? Oh no.
Oh my. What?
Oh, he unplugged, I think, by accident. Let's see.
Oh, is he back? Oh no. No, he's not going to get to make his point.
Oh, he's going to leave. You're
going to leave and come back? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
All right, he gone. Struddy is gone. Gone. Well, Zuby, while we're waiting for him, why don't we just throw out our YouTube poll right now while we get Struddy back in here? And I'll go ahead and, we'll get us squared away for this. It's brought to you by DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center. The snow is melting. The golf season will soon be here. The 2025 equipment's now fully loaded in the fitting carts. DeBoer's booking fittings 10 days in advance, so call now to get your spot. Get fit to play your best by the team dedicated to helping you play better golf. Visit them at 5311 99th Street in Edmonton. Zuby, what do you got for a poll tonight? Let's get it to the people right away while we get Struds sorted.
Yeah, and it's not even in the thing yet, so I'm doing that as I write it here, but I'll say it out loud as I'm copying and pasting it into the deal here. What aspect of the Oilers' last 10 games is bugging you the most? And the options we've got in here is goaltending, turnovers, overall team defense, or other. And please, of course, feel free to write in your votes, and we'll get to some of those of some of the other aspects of the game that might be really bugging you over these last 10.
Puffy Lover coming in hot saying, is it possible to sit the head coach for a game? Maybe Knobber could use a night off and observe from the press box. That would be unheard of, Puffy Lover. That would definitely be unheard of. I take it that's his other. Test 1, 2, Struds. Check, check, check.
Yeah, I'm back. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened. I froze up there. I couldn't, because when I go and promote it on Twitter, I mute myself. I couldn't come back for some reason. Unmute myself. So I was frozen.
Okay.
Coming
in hot tonight. Did you light the candle? Did you forget to light the candle?
No, the candle's lit. But these new ones I got, what's the place I told you I got it from? The Bath and Body Works. There's a lot of H2O in these because they burn down fast. It's a lower quality. Listen, I like a lot, but the higher quality candles last because they're not a ton of H2O. This one was probably made by Michael Scott's wife.
All right. Jan Levinson Gould. Yes.
Jan Levinson.
Struddy, get over to HomeSense. They got those RW. That's a great brand.
Oh, yeah, those are nice.
That's ones. For all your candle needs. That's my.
Okay, I got to go because these ones it's burning quick. It'll be done by the end of the night.
Okay, so we got to get her going here. All right, let's get to the breakdown then. Brought to you by Alberta Ram Dealers, the 2025 Ram 1500. Did you know it's Motor Trend's Truck of the Year? That's right. Visit your Alberta Ram dealer to get into this award-winning truck at a competitive price, capable, stylish, and powerful. It is Ram. Okay, Struds, come off the top rope, buddy. Fans are going to want to talk about rebounds from Skinner and not being hard enough on a puck by Evan Bouchard and turnovers and such and goalposts. Uncle Struddy says what?
Puck management was awful today. Like, it was so bad today, the puck management the Oilers had. And we can go through it. We can talk about plays, just casual passing, not zipping it around. And we'll get to the third goal because that one has me lit up. So I'm hijacking this thing. It is all about the puck management and defense. And secondary is defensive awareness and being hard in your own zone. That first goal, a U9 player with Ryan Rishaug like skating could have skated through, shot that puck like Tage Thompson, gotten to the net, got that rebound and tapped it in. Where are the D? Where are they? Mm-hmm. So we can get mad at, Arvidsson for following farther up in the zone. We can get frustrated with Skinner not corralling that puck and or the rebound. But a D-man's job is to stop that player from getting there. Nowhere to just right this way. Come on through. We got it. It was ugly. The third goal. Do you want me to keep going or do you want me to talk about that one?
No, you're on a roll, but let's go one at a time here. Which of those D was more at fault? Because I believe you had Nurse and Wallman out there, right? Were the two guys. Now, Wallman almost looked like he came over to help out.
He did.
On Nurse's side.
So either one can shut it down. And I'll give credit to Kevin Bex the other night. He talked about Lyubushkin and how Lyubushkin is kind of reaching for and he kept his hands and stick forward as the players skate around him. What you can do is you put your stick across, like perpendicular toward the direction this skater is going, and you put your stick in front of them, and now that directs them, at least push them to the other side. Either player could have done that with him there. So could Skinner have caught that? Yes. It was a hard shot. Could he have corralled it better? 100%. But a D-man's job is to protect his goalie, to help him out, to give him that extra second he may need to do it. And they didn't do it.
I was wrong. Yeah, I was wrong. So I'm looking at it right now. You got Wallman and you got Bouchard. Tage Thompson steps to the middle of the ice and fires a snapshot. Evan Bouchard is closest to him, but Wallman is working his way right to left. He basically just skates right past Bouchard. Wallman gets caught watching the puck a little bit and doesn't pick up the stick. So Bouchard let him skate right by. Wallman didn't pay attention to detail in the slot on the stick. So I see that as being both those D-men there, Struds.
One or both could have dealt with it. One or both. Yeah. And hey, I got him. You take him or whatever. Someone can highlight that play. But it really is a 1-on-2, and then he gets by both guys. It's a 1-on-2, and he gets his own rebound, which is pretty incredible, right? Like, that is really hard to swallow. As a coach, I'd be like, guys, it's a 1-on-2. Someone's got to stop that guy from getting there. And yes, he shoots it hard, and yes, he could have corralled it a little bit better, but your D-man have to help out. That's what the give and take is about playing on playing D and forward, right? You need to support your buddies out there, and they didn't. And it showed in this game in other ways as well. But in that goal specifically, I believe that's a non-goal if the D-men help themselves out, help their goalie out. which they should have
Yeah.
in that situation.
Yeah. I mean, that guy fires a hard puck. Didn't love the rebound and definitely a bobble. So it wasn't a good play there from Skinner, but certainly wasn't the only one that made some terrible plays there leading to that. Let's get to the 2-1 goal, Struds, where basically, once again, shot right down Main Street. And this time you got Darnell Nurse down on one knee and you got a great snipe.
Yeah. So this one, it's a little bit trickier. And I know fans aren't going to want to hear this, but there's a puck thrown high in the neutral zone and Nurse climbs the ladder to get it and he bats it forward. But his momentum and his partner's momentum is continuing to pull back. So now McLeod gets it and he easily accesses the blue line. And the two D-men are backed up, and the forward of the Sabres continues to drive the net. Well, now there's a ton of space. Let's call it. I'm going to call it around the top of the circles. I don't remember exactly where he was, but around
just
the top
above the
of the
hash.
circles.
Yeah.
Sorry, hash mark.
Yeah, just above the hash mark. You're talking about where the shot came from?
Yeah. So let's call it. Yeah. So let's call it from the hash mark to above the top of the circle. There's a hole, big hole. McLeod zips it over to Tuck, and he walks in and has an absolute bomb and shoots it. So, they need some back pressure. The D have to try to stay up a little bit more, but it is hard because credit the Sabres, they push them back with speed. So the third guy is generally the forward's man. That is pretty widely accepted in circles.
Yeah.
That the third guy is the D man spot. So again, it's they get pushed back. There's a spot there, and no one's able to get back and fill that space created by the Sabres push.
And we're going to say, I mean, he's got a great shot. It's a hard one. I don't know. Does Skinner need to get a piece of that, or did he just get beat in a vulnerable spot? Like, Zuby, you can chime in on that. How'd you feel about that 2-2 goal?
Well, I was just saying, and Noel Rinsky said, Skinner's his feet are firmly in the middle of the crease of the blue paint. So to me, it's a great shot, but he read it a little late. I felt like he wasn't quite set, and he came out. He challenged out a little bit too late. So a great shot, hard to see. Nurse makes it a little bit difficult to see, but I think his positioning could have been better, and then he might have saved it. If he was out on the top of the crease, he might have caught a piece of it.
Can I chime in there, Zub, and you get your thoughts? To me, he looked unsettled and very uncomfortable when that shot was taken. Like, he looked really unsettled and uncomfortable. Now, I can understand why when you have a guy with a bomb walking down Main Street to take that shot, you're probably not set. But he didn't look either settled or comfortable there in that save. So he could have maybe helped himself a bit.
Yeah, his feet weren't set. He was deep in the crease and almost turned a little bit sideways. So it was unusual, I thought, his positioning, and it just looked like he didn't quite read the play well enough and probably lost it behind Nurse at the moment the shot was coming.
Even just his bodily reaction after the goal went in, he was kind of like wobbling back and forth between his two skates, like, hey. So, okay, now let's push to the game-winning goal, the 3-2 goal, Struds. I'm not even going to put any thoughts out there. I'm just going to put it on a tee for you.
This is the epitome of you can't trust a forward. This is, you put this one on a tee, you put this on a T-shirt, you show every young D-man, this is why you can never trust the D or trust a forward. You always trust the D. Polkolzin gets and he's walking along close to the blue line. He runs out of options, right? Now, I believe the option, because there's paint the picture, Bouchard's on the blue line, Leon's in the vicinity, and there's two Sabres in that area. He wants to make a play. The play is to Leon. The play is to throw the puck below the net, because the Sabres have two people in the space, two Sabres in that area. He doesn't. Tries to make a play that's not there. And all of a sudden now it's all Evan Bouchard's fault. It's two guys chasing him down. They're hacking away at him. And that play should never have happened. Evan Bouchard should never have been involved in that play, should never have to fight for that puck on the way back. That puck should have been put down below the goal line. But no, they try to make a play that's not there. Dare I say force a play? Yes, force a play that's not there. And now Evan's going back for the puck. Two guys chase him, two good players. Norris is fast. And then you got Tage Thompson. Bit of a slash on his stick, gets the puck, tossed it to Thompson. Thompson forehand, backhand, goal. See you later. That's it. with love from Buffalo, we're out of here. So listen, park the Skinner talk on this goal, park the Bouchard talk on this goal. It should never have happened. And that comes back to my big highlight of the night. Puck management. Know the game. It's 2-2. You're getting chances. You don't need to do something special there. There's 2 Sabres in the area. That is really frustrating. And I as a coach, I don't like when my kids do that. Like my own kids, the teams I coach. I definitely don't like when NHL players try to force something. It's not there.
Great stuff, Struds. Okay. Granted, it was a mistake from Podkolzin and a bad one, which I don't think the coach liked. You'll hear a clip coming up in a minute. And it was a turnover, no question. What did you think of the way Bouchard played that play, though? Because I'll tell you what I think, and then you can tee off on me. I admit that a mistake was made at the other end. I do think that this falls a little bit into Evan Bouchard just needing to have a little bit more sense of urgency. To me, he either needs to reach hard and just poke that puck, or he needs to get 2 hands on his stick and make a hard play on it. He got caught trying to poke it at the same time he was putting his other hand on the stick. And that didn't make sense to me. I don't know why he did that. It's like one or the other. So he certainly isn't the biggest culprit, but again, it's a bit of a sense of urgency thing for me with him in that play in that moment.
I was very critical of you can't trust a forward, which is so true. We should put that on a t-shirt. Now, that being said, unfortunately for D-men, clean up in aisle 9. So you got to try to clean this mess up. The 2 best players on the other team, arguably, are chasing you down because your forward tried to make a play that's not there at the blue line under pressure with those 2 top players in your area. So you're right. You do have to clean up. That's the job. Clean up aisle 9. Now, I believe that you're right. You got to get, I think he was skating with one hand on a stick because you skate faster with one hand on a stick, but a stride or 2 before arriving to the puck, you get 2 hands. The problem is that you try to box one out, the other guy gets the puck. So I think he's in a tough spot. Now, if it was one-on-one, you just kind of box the guy out, and now you're holding your space, and you can just carry that puck around the net. He's unsure which way to do it because there's 2 of them. Have I mentioned already? There's 2 guys, the 2 best players on the other team chasing him. So I think the play was to poke it forward, just get it out of trouble, and wait for people to come back. Now, the player who makes the mistake is the one back checking. So if you want to review that tape and see the energy he brought 100%. Back. So I saw on Twitter, to this, to that, he's not worth this, he's not worth that. Let's review the tape before you get all upset about this one. I think you got to be, not you, Sugar, but in general, Oilers fans, take a hard look at it without your hating Bouchard glasses, and maybe you'll have a different take on it because I don't believe 2 was, he could have poked it forward, but there's 2 of them. Who is he supposed to box out? And I don't think Bouchard's the fastest skater as either one of those guys.
Yeah, no, all really fair points, Struds. And I think part of the reason why it gets attention a little bit from me is because sense of urgency is something that we've talked about Bouchard with in his own end. And if you look at the very first play that he makes on that puck, he misses it. Like he actually had a chance to make a play on it and just kind of missed it. So we've seen a little bit of that from him. So for me, that's where the criticism comes from, but completely agree. I'm watching it again. Podkolzin on the back check. Like he stopped his feet moving for just long enough that his stick probably would have been able to get there to break it up. So it's Podkolzin in the one end making the mistake, Podkolzin on the back check making the mistake, and this did not, Struds, go unnoticed by his head coach. I'm just playing this clip. We'll get to the Weiss Johnson stuff in a minute. It's a longer clip.
Okay, let's dig in.
But he's got to be talking about 92 here. Listen to the back half. It's about 45 seconds.
I don't think any of that video is going to matter. I think we've been talking about it a lot. So it's just about guys executing and finding that it's important part of the game. Making a play, making a nice pass, it's important. It's frustrating when some of the guys who aren't contributing offensively are contributing for scoring chances against, which is really hurting us. It's different if you're making those plays and it's leading to offense, and once in a while you get caught. But if you're not creating that offense and you're giving up those chances, that's what's hurting the team.
That's as critical as he gets, Struds.
Well, he's 100% right. And listen, Paul Colson isn't the only one who's made these types of plays. So this to me is a team-wide thing where you have to manage the puck. Now, what does managing the puck means? It means understanding where you are on the ice, who you're on the ice against, and what is the risk reward. So let's just say here for a second, Shogger, Paul Colson completes the pass to Leon. What are Leon's options, you think, in that area? There's 2 Sabres in that area. 2. So it's not like Leon's going on a breakaway after that, right? That's not Wallman lobbing it over everybody with his 50-degree wedge and Hyman pulling it down and going to get it. It's a very low percentage play with very low percentage chance of success. So manage the puck better. Understand who you are.
Yes. I don't disagree. But here's what I'll say. When you're Vasily Podkolzin and you're playing on Leon Draisaitl's line, Leon Draisaitl expects and wants the puck, right? That is the expectation and that is the want. And you feel that if you're a player like Vasily Podkolzin. That's what keeps you on the line. Dig pucks out of the corners and get it to me, and then I'll be the one turning it over. Wasn't that the joke Draisaitl made a little while back when he was asked about what he wants from line mates? So in Vasily Podkolzin's world, Leon Draisaitl wants the puck. Now, I am not saying that he did not make a mistake, because he absolutely did. When he comes out of that corner, Struds, he looks up, and what does he see? Sees Leon Draisaitl skating directly at him with his stick on the ice, presenting it to take the pass, right? He wants this puck as he's skating towards him. No question, he wants this puck and expects to get it. Now, Podkolzin throws him a grenade. He held on to it a second long. What he should have done was just left it for Draisaitl to skate into it and take it, or left it and then tied up one of the sticks around him. But he didn't. He tried to make a play to him, and that was the grenade. But Draisaitl comes over, stick presented, wanting that puck. And when you're Vasily Podkolzin, you get it to 29.
I'm going to challenge you there. It's Norris on there, and he sees Paul Colson and Leon coming to him. He cheats. He knows he's trying to get it to Leon. So he puts his stick in there and breaks that play up. Everyone in the rink knows he wants to give to 29. But in that spot with 2 Sabres there, I'm sorry. That is not the play. I would rather deal with a frustrated Leon when I throw it around the net, rather than he might not be on the line next game. So you won't have to worry about it. Like I get it. He's playing, and I've been a big supporter of Paul Colson. But when you're on that line, he just said it, the coach, you cannot turn pucks over and be the reasons we're getting scored on. That can't happen. You work hard, you manage the puck, and you're really strong on it. That is a low percentage play, again, because there's 2 Sabres in his area and 2 offensive-minded players. And Norris, look, if I look up and see Paul Colson and Leon's coming at him, I know where the puck's going. I know it. Yeah. He's not going to keep hanging on to it. So he had the opportunity to throw it behind the net. And I believe it is that Arvidsson, or is it I can't tell from here. In front of it's Brown. I think it might be Brown. He throws it down there. Brown gets it. Brown gets that puck because there's no one else around there. So it's 2-2 game. You're getting some chances. I just, you know what, guys, I am a little frustrated tonight. I didn't get called a senior citizen. It's just that these are things that the Oilers can do when you show them doing it well. And the puck management for this group right now is not up to the level it needs to be. This isn't a game you should lose.
Love it. Love it, love it. Okay, coming up in our next segment, we'll hear a little bit more from Chris Knobloch, Darnell Nurse as well. Rob Brown's going to be joining us here, I think, in the not-too-distant future. So we'll get to that stuff. For now, Struds, let's get to our Relentless Player of the Night, brought to you by UCAN Youth Services. The annual Comedy Nights fundraiser is ready to go. And there's a couple tables left for the week of March 17th to 19th. We're going on the 19th and looking forward to it. They got some great things happening in the silent auction. 50-50 draw. The raffle is open with great prizes like an 85-inch TV, $1,000 Lululemon gift card, WestJet flight for 2. So lots of great action happening at the UCAN Comedy Night. Go to www.ucancomedy.ca to grab your tickets. Struds, who are we going with for the Relentless Player of the Night?
the collection of players on the Oilers who hit posts, right? Connor Brown on the backhand, Leon on the one-timer. I want to say Nude. I think it was Nuge, another one. Crossbar Nurse. I mean, that's not exactly like a tap in, but it was a hell of a shot. So those are four I can think of off the top of my head. I think there was maybe one or two more. But, we're critical of the defending. I think we can also bring up the fact that you can pot one of those, right? One of those are pretty sure-handed. Like Brown had a pretty open net and he hit the side of the post. So, it's these things go together because they did have opportunities to score. And people are talking about Paluca playing well, and he played pretty well. There's no doubt, but there's a lot of times where his two best friends made saves from.
All right, that was our Relentless Player of the Night, brought to you by UCAN Youth Services. We'll take a break. When we come back, takeaways, Brownie Points, Struddy's World. Ask us anything. Tons of show ahead. Stay with us here on Got Your Back.
So at Timberhouse, our guiding philosophy is naturally inspired living. We believe that through design, we can solve problems and enhance people's lives. We follow biophilic design principles in all of our builds to incorporate natural materials, natural light, to enhance all the spaces in a home. When you have your space perfectly reflect who you are and what you value, and it's made well, we think that that just leads to better living.
With over 18 years in the industry, Kelly Zaretsky and her team at Blue Summit Accounting deliver client-focused solutions and financial guidance for success in a simple and comfortable way. Whether it's for corporate or personal needs, Blue Summit Accounting can help with taxes, estate planning, financial services, bookkeeping, and more. Get in touch today. Email bluesummitacct@gmail.com or call 780-416-9662.
Got him here, bud.
Whoa. What do we got here for music?
New remix.
Whoa. Jeez, Zuby. AI taking a little creative license with our theme song. I don't mind that one. Not
That's
the worst one. Oh, wow. Time now for takeaways, brought to you by Horizon Ag and Turf. John Deere tractors are more affordable than you think. Starting at only $254 a month with 0% financing for 84 months. Currently available on select John Deere utility tractors. Stop by your local Horizon Ag and Turf today to view their inventory lineup or visit them online at horizonagandturf.com. There's Brownie.
There he is.
Brownie, you missed a jazzed up Jason Strudwick in the opening segment, buddy. Absolutely going off on puck management. Didn't want to talk about Skinner. Didn't want to talk about Bouchard. You can never trust a defense or a forward. And puck management is what sunk the Oilers tonight. He was yelling so loud, he accidentally blew out his candle, Brownie.
Well, to me, is it not a reoccurring theme what we're seeing with the Oilers, where they do enough offensively that, yeah, they probably outplayed Buffalo at times, but then they shoot themselves in the foot with big mistakes and big mistakes from a bunch of different people that you don't expect. Ty Emberson in the first period, he throws a backhand pass while standing still in front of his own net, turned into a 2-on-0. I mean, plays that you don't see out of your number 6 defenseman, turning the puck over in the neutral zone. I mean, Evan Bouchard was on a 3-on-1 on the power play. He threw a 40-foot pass 5 feet high that turned into a 2-on-1 against, where Connor McDavid had to play defense. Like, I don't understand what he was doing on that play. So the Oilers just continue to make big mistakes, and they get a little unlucky with posts, but they're giving the other team too many easy opportunities. Buffalo doesn't create as much on their own, and you give Tage Thompson 2 tap-ins, he's 5 feet out. He's a 6'5" or 6'6" massive man with beautiful hands, and you give him 2 golden opportunities from 5 feet in front of Stuart Skinner. So puck management, big mistakes. Yeah, Struds, I could see how that gets your blood pressure going.
Yeah, and I think when I talk about puck management, it's everything, Brownie. It's having the puck and, hope passes to the slot. You just talked about with Bouchard. Like when you have the puck below the net or below the goal line, you want to make passes that are sure. As a D-man, I'm panicking because I'm like, okay, I'm with this guy or maybe I'm with the guy in front. They're looking for someone to pass it to, and the guy doesn't even look and throws it. I say a little prayer. I go to church and I light a candle and thank that player for throwing it up there because it's a turnover. And remember last year in the playoffs, Corey Perry got after Kane because Kane was throwing just hope passes. And, when it works, it looks great. When it doesn't work, your line mates are pissed because you work so hard to go get it. Now you're throwing it away. And that's not the only place. Like there's other places on the ice. Like I'd rather them hold it and rather than turn it over. There was even a play, and this one sticks to my mind. Arvidsson in the first period got it to the left of the Oilers net. And he saw a pass. There's a pass up to the wall. I want to say it's Paul Coles, and I might be wrong. But he froze. He didn't like that one. That was a play. He looks for another play. Guess what? Stick lifted. Boom. It's in his end again. Like, that's puck management as well. Move the puck up. Get it up. And I don't know how you break this. Maybe they have to play through it. But Brownie, that puck management it encompasses so many things that they just aren't doing right now.
Well, in one of the big things, and on the Emerson one and on the Arvidsson one, both times the players stood still. And when you're standing still trying to make plays, you're not going to have success. You have to move your feet, start moving in the right direction. That way, if someone's coming to check you, now they got to chase you at least. But if you are stationary, trying to make a play, Leon Draisaitl can play stationary. He's big, he's strong, he's physical, he sees the ice better than anyone else. No one else can. And I know in my career, every time I was struggling, the coach would call me in, you're not moving your feet. You're not moving your feet. And that's what I'm seeing right now with the Oilers. They're trying to make plays while standing still, which means they hadn't decided what they wanted to do with the puck until they got it. And if you have to make the decision then, it's too late. Players are too fast, and they are going to force you to make mistakes.
To the Weiss Johnson Soundbox. If it's time for a new furnace, garage heater, or hot water tank, you're looking to beat the rush on getting a new air conditioner for the summer, act now. They're already seeing an increase in requests for AC, so get on it. Specializing in servicing your existing mechanical systems or installing new ones, they're here for all your home comfort needs. Visit Weiss-Johnson.com today. Jingle.
Weiss Johnson, whoa.
Chris Knobloch postgame.
Turnovers. I think we controlled most of the play. I think we had a lot of time in the offensive zone. I think we had more chances. But what we didn't do is just the kind of mistakes that we made. And you look at the turnovers. The turnovers that led to scoring chances off the rush, and I don't think we spent very little time in the defensive zone, and I think we've done a pretty good job on that. But just the puck management and giving chances off the rush was a big story tonight.
All right, backing up some of what he was saying there, just grab it. Sportlogic stats: turnover scoring chances 12-5. In favor of the Buffalo Sabres. And then, what did he say? Off the turnover scoring chance, 11-4 at even strength. And then there were 9-2 Buffalo were the odd man rushes, the count on odd man rushes. So definitely a lot of mistakes leading to that. How about that 3-on-1 where Connor Brown puts it right into the crest of the netminder? Brownie, you must have just been cringing, buddy.
Well, certain players have certain roles, and sometimes those players get wide open looks, and they don't pick corners like the rest of them. So actually, I didn't mind Connor Brown's game today. So but there's some didn't Connor Brown have the wide open net too, where he hit the post?
Backhand.
Like it was the backhand, like completely wide
open.
Like he had, how long is a net? What is it, 5 feet wide? Is that how long, or 4.5 feet, whatever it is?
Is it 4 by 6?
I don't know what it is, but he had all of it.
Zuby thinks it's 8 feet wide.
It just looks like it when I'm out there.
How the hell do we not know that? I think it's 4 by 6.
4 by 6. It's 4 by 6
Okay, you're 5 feet.
I don't know. So 6 feet. So he had a full 6 feet, and he missed all 6 feet of it on his backhand. That's just the way things are going.
The 50 goal scorer.
The net's 6 feet tall?
Why?
No, 4 feet tall.
6 feet wide.
All right. That is. Okay.
We're hockey analysts
right there.
Yeah, we're hockey analysts. Don't know how big a night is.
Thank you.
night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Shut it
Good
down.
night.
Good night, everybody. Have a good night.
That's your playoff music at the Oscars, Sean. You're out of here. I'll take it over.
Oh my God. Shut myself down.
6
rest
feet
of the
tall.
night.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Oh,
Let's grab some composure here.
So he had 6 feet to shoot at it. So Connor Brown, I mean, little snake, it's been a while, but it's, to me, you can, if you're a coaching staff, sometimes the players that are lower in the lineup are going to miss scoring chances. But what the coach will never accept is where players lower in the lineup are turning the puck over or are deficient defensively. And I think that's what we're seeing. And I think Knobloch mentioned that tonight. He said, if you're not scoring in one end, you better not be doing an injustice in your own end with poor defensive play. And the Oilers have been doing that. So to me, it's just a carry on of what we've seen for about a month now.
Jeff Skinner draws into the lineup tonight. I think it was the right thing to do, throw him in against Buffalo. You've been hard enough on this player this year. He wasn't out of the lineup because of poor play. So fundamentally, I'm okay with this move. What did you think of his game tonight, Struds?
Yeah, you know what? I thought he was really trying to attack the net. And I'd like to see more of that from other players. And not so much that, how can I say it? Again, you guys, for those who don't know, I wasn't very offensive. But I hated when forwards would attack the net.
Respect.
I can only tell you what I didn't like.
I wasn't very offensive. Oh my God. I wasn't very offensive. No, really?
No, you know what? I'm still a bit sensitive from the senior citizens comments from the other night, but I'll get over this one. So when forwards attack the net, put their shoulder down and attack the net, like we saw Leon do. Leon skated around. He was fine. He attacked the net. It just puts me on my heels as a D-man. I don't want to have to make choices. I don't want to have to struggle. I just want you to stay in front of me and I'll just kind of sit in my rocking chair and flail my stick around, hope it knock it down on a pass. So I thought Skinner specifically was attacking the net pretty well today. And I think he needs to continue doing that to be effective.
Well, unfortunately for him, I'm not sure when he's going to get to do it again. I thought Skinner was good. I really did in this hockey game. I thought Skinner was good. He was dangerous. There's a lot of players that you look up front for the Oilers that weren't. And every time Skinner, I haven't seen early in the year, I think there were some games where there were some deficiencies defensively for Skinner. And we all saw that. But when is the last time you saw the big mistake from Jeff Skinner defensively? I haven't. Yet he keeps finding himself on the outside. He's in the fourth line. He's in the press box. And the players that are playing ahead of him aren't getting it done. I mean, Podkolzin, 19 games in a row without a goal? Playing on your second line. Arvidsson has 2 goals in 18 games. Playing on your second line. The third line is producing nothing at all offensively. The only guy in their bottom 9 that is given them any sort of juice is Corey Perry. So to me, I don't completely understand. Now, maybe Jeff Skinner can't play with Leon because he likes holding on to the puck, but I would find a way to get Jeff Skinner in my lineup until he proves that he's a defensive liability. And I have not seen that from in the last number of games that Skinner's played.
Next game, I would have Jeff Skinner playing with Connor McDavid, and I would have Ryan Nugent-Hopkins playing with Leon Draisaitl. I think it's probably okay for them to mix up this McDavid line a little bit. I think Leon Draisaitl obviously is playing spectacular hockey right now for the most part. And I think it's time to give Skinner a look. If Draisaitl isn't the right guy to have him next to, then get him out there with Connor. And Zach Hyman can go dig out pucks and see if they can get something going. But it is time for Jeff Skinner to get an opportunity in the top 6 again. Vasily Podkolzin's mistake tonight is the perfect opportunity to send a message. It's easy to do that with players like Podkolzin. Coaches have been doing it for generations. I'm not necessarily saying pull him out of the lineup, which they might. But I would have Jeff Skinner up, and I would consider mixing up that McDavid line a little bit there. Struds, what say you?
So just so I'm clear, who's the other guy beside Nuge and Draisaitl?
Leon.
Stay with Arvidsson.
Yeah,
you're fine. Nobody else is beating down the door to grab that spot, so just stay with
who'd
Arvidsson.
you say? Arvidsson?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I could see that. The problem is Skinner does like to carry the puck. As much as I like that he does it, the problem is that those guys don't want him carrying it. So I honestly think that the reason he's not really playing with those guys is because those guys don't want him on that line. You hear Paul Colson being, earlier in the year, how much Leon likes it. I just think that Skinner's too much of a puck carrier, and those guys don't want anyone else carrying the puck.
Mm-hmm.
So I
you
give
don't
him a
think
chance.
he can change, Brownie? Like, can he figure it out? Like, can you talk to him?
Well, if you told him before the game, hey, here's your choices. You're going to play in the top 6, but when you get the puck, you got to pass to Connor or Leon, or you're going to watch them play. What would you prefer? It's your choice. We're going to lay it out there for you. So, yeah, you can play, you can change. I don't know if that was ever talked to him about. I don't know if the two players, Connor and Leon, don't want to play them. I have no idea, but I do know this: that when's the last time we saw an RNH goal? 5-on-5.
Yeah.
When is Arvidsson's got, I think it's 2-18 or 2-19, and Podkolzin's 19 games in a row without a goal. That's your top 6 wingers. We continue to see Connor and Leon together in third periods, sometimes second periods of hockey games. And the problem is, and we saw it again tonight, when they're together, they create. But if it doesn't find the back of the net, no one through lines 2, 3, and 4 are going to get you a goal. And all of a sudden, all your eggs are in one basket and you're hoping they score. So I've said from the beginning that Jeff Skinner is good enough to play, and he's good enough to be in this top 9. But I've also said that I don't believe he will be, and I'll stick with that simply because the coaching staff, there's something about his game that the coaching staff is not enamored with.
Yeah. People are asking why reward Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Some suggesting he should come out of the top 6, and they elevate a guy like Henrique, somebody like that. I still think they need Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. They need his skill in the top 6. They need him with one of those guys. They get too thin. So I'm willing to just continue to let it ride with him there. But guys, they can't afford to just bury Jeff Skinner to the point where he does not even become an option to do what he was brought here to do. He was brought here to be a top 6 forward. And I know it hasn't worked out, but I'm sorry, you do not have the production coming from anywhere else that gives you the luxury of taking a guy who's 20 to 30 goals most years of his career and saying it's just not working and bury him. You have to keep working at it. You have to keep letting him work at it. You have to keep trying to find solutions. The big guys are going to have to be patient because they can't just wash their hands of this player at his cap hit for what he was brought here to do and just say, guess it's not working and it never will, Struds. They do not have the luxury of doing that.
Listen, I feel like one of us has said this kind of every couple of weeks. We have a sermon, similar to what you just said. And so I'm not saying you're not original, but I think we've all had those moments, right?
Yes, you are. That's exactly what you just said. That's okay.
Not my intention.
Just say it then.
I'm not trying to be funny, but it's just, we've all, I think, said he's got to be given a chance. I know I've said it for sure, and Brownie is so... I don't know. Yes. Okay. Let's do it. Let's try it. Like, you look at New Jersey. New Jersey's next, right? There's no Jack Hughes. There's no Dougie Hamilton. Not that this is an easy game. I mean, the Sabres should have been a bit more of an easy game. But I agree. I think some kind of a spark and find some chemistry somewhere, because it's just not there. But ultimately,
it's not going to happen.
Back to the puck management.
Yeah, but again, it's not going to happen with Jeff Skinner because right now he played because it was Buffalo, and Kapanen will be back in, and then Frederick will be in, and quite possibly Evander Kane will be in. So Jeff Skinner just keeps moving further and further away from the bench. I watched his game tonight, and I thought he was good. He actually looked dangerous out there where a lot of other players didn't.
Yeah. You're right, bud. You're right. You're right. I appreciate the case you made. Rishaug was a lot stronger than you did for the chip debate, and you're more prepared. That's for sure. And I think Brownie's right. Like, I think we've seen it. We've seen this already. We've seen this show.
I didn't need to bring much of an argument for the chip debate because it was that obvious, Struds.
Oh boy. Here we go.
Hey, what I want to do next weekend? Can we do this? Yep. Like, the next time Sherwood Park Crusaders play, we can get like the family thing. Our dad Struds could go get the tickets, and we could be his kids, and we could all go together to the game, being the senior that he is with his 2 young children.
Get us a deal on the way in. Was your hair wet? Did it look thinner than normal because it was kind of wet and matted down? Like, did you look fully bald?
No.
And were you tired? Like maybe some bags under your
Not even
eyes?
half bald. No, I'm not. I told you, as I left my house, I remember looking in the mirror thinking, the old dog looks pretty good today.
Were you wearing your tight jeans?
Did you dress yourself? Because normally, I mean, you tend to dress pretty old when left to your own devices.
No, I had a very, very classy hoodie with a bit of a shell over top. Nice shoes. I thought it looked good. I was going there to watch the game. So I'm happy to go back. Was she sitting
at a table? So she was looking up at your sort of neck and jowls?
I don't have, don't try to put your own insecurities on me. I don't have jowls. She was pretty much eye level. I think she was maybe on a box.
Okay.
But honestly, I still think maybe she had a thing for the big guy. And I get it. I tend to melt a few hearts.
Yeah,
when I come in there
that's the way women pick up men, by saying, hey, you look like a senior citizen. Yeah, that was probably it.
Nope. But Brownie, this is a trick that ladies have been using for a long time. They say mean things to you to try to bring you down so you feel bad about yourself. And then, then they strike.
Build you back up. Yeah, that's what she was doing, Struddy. I'm going to knock this guy's considerable ego down and then start from scratch and build him back up. Oh, boy. That was Takeaways brought to you by Horizon Ag and Turf. As we go to break and get ready for Brownie Points in Struddy's World, I want you to all contemplate this during the break. Think about it. Visualize it. What would the game look like if nets were 4 feet wide and 6 feet tall? We'll be right back.
Join over 250,000 Canadians who have upgraded to Canada's best mattress. Douglas is proudly made in Canada and ships directly to your door for free. Douglas is easy to set up. Enjoy perfectly balanced comfort and an easy-to-clean machine washable cover. Get a free sleep bundle with your Douglas mattress. Try risk-free for 365 nights. Get your Douglas mattress today.
At Gallery Dental, we believe in blending exceptional care with artistry to create the perfect smile for you. From routine cleanings to advanced cosmetic procedures, our team is dedicated to providing top-notch care in a relaxed and comfortable environment. With state-of-the-art technology and a passion for perfection, we ensure that every visit is a positive experience. Join the Gallery Dental family and let us help you achieve a smile that you'll love to show off. Contact us today at secolanddentistry.com.
Lauren the Alchemist says, Google Rotten Tomatoes Jason Strudwick. The photo. Why does Strudwick have an actor profile on Rotten Tomatoes? Any idea, Struddy?
I do. I didn't even know that. I mean, I've never acted. I've only modeled for the Bay Company.
Well, it's where the reason the person's saying that is because that one picture of you with the long hair, longish flow. Oh, that's where that photo's from. I know that from building the Struddy's World show intro. It's on Rotten Tomatoes. It's like the only place. It looks like you were on a red carpet or something. You were at an event.
Interesting. Yeah, see if you can pull that picture up by the end of the show. Wow. See if you can pull that up.
The listeners will get distracted.
Yeah. In the meantime, let's get to Brownie Points, brought to you by Hamel's Premium Jerky. If you're looking for a delicious way to support your team, club, or cause, Hamel's Premium Jerky offers an easy and profitable fundraising opportunity. Raise funds with a high-quality product everybody loves. Contact them today at albertajerky.com. Brownie, hand out some points, bud.
Well, let's start with 53 brownie points and a key to the handcuffs that have Jeff Skinner cuffed to the bench of the press box. I thought in a one-goal game, Skinner looked dangerous out there in each of the 11 minutes that he was allowed to play. To me, let him play. You're down a goal in a hockey game. You know what that Skinner does? He scores goals. Know where he scored goals in his career? In that arena. I would have been playing him a lot in the third period, and I think he deserved it. I got 33 brownie points to the Sabres big man who potted his 32nd and 33rd goals of the season. I played against his dad. His dad did not have hands like that. He had hands like hammers when he fought. But Tage is a big man with pretty hands, and the Oilers gave him 2 golden opportunities from about 5 feet out. So Tage Thompson, he gets 33 brownie points. I've got minus 20 brownie points to Florida Panthers star Aaron Ekblad, who was found taking something that he probably shouldn't have been taking and is suspended for 20 games. The Atlantic Division it is important to win the Atlantic Division. Your first round matchup in the playoffs, much, much easier. If the Florida Panthers, because of their now without Ekblad the rest of the year, all of a sudden fall to second or third, then you got to go through Tampa and Toronto. This was a big mistake by Aaron Ekblad. I got 15 brownie points to the Oilers' best player right now, Leon Draisaitl. A couple assists tonight, keeps his scoring streak alive at 15 straight, and is still chasing Nathan MacKinnon for the scoring lead. Good game for Leon Draisaitl. And finally, minus 1,000 brownie points to the NHL video replay department. Yep, wait till you hear what happened. Nathan MacKinnon set up Martin Necas for a goal in the first period tonight against Chicago. The Avs bench emptied to congratulate Nathan MacKinnon on his 1,000th point. Then the play was challenged by Chicago and ruled offside. The score is now 0-0, and Nate is stuck at 999. So boo, and minus 1,000 brownie points for taking away a special moment for Nate MacKinnon.
One day, Struds, a Stanley Cup. A Stanley Cup is going to get called back, and they're going to have to find their gloves and sort out their equipment, and it's going to happen.
Got to get it right, though.
One day it should have been. When
it should have been, yeah.
Brett Hull's toe was in the crease. That should have been called back. So, but yeah, it was funny, though. The whole bench, they all went on the ice, like when Connor got his 1,000th. And they're all celebrating, and then Chicago coach calls the ref over and said, "We want to challenge that." It was one of those offsides. It was offside by about an inch. So, and I just looked. It's still 0-0 in the game in the third period.
Emma Terry says, "Get rid of the cameras. Trust your officials, or don't." Not sure. I don't know. Are you okay with the Stanley Cup winning goal being fundamentally offside? You willing to take
Depends
that?
if my team won or
I'm
not.
okay with it sometimes. Yeah. I'm willing to take a bit of review, but I think they definitely overdo it right now, hey?
Oh, definitely. 100%.
Okay. That was Brownie Points, brought to you by Hamel's Premium Jerky. Roll the intro. Let's get to the big guys segment.
When you make a mistake, heads should roll. It's not right. And I'm here. Someone has to put their foot down. Now that I say it out loud, it does sound a little crazy. Gotta look good.
Yes, it is time for Struddy's World, brought to you by Timberhouse Developments. If you need a little extra space for the in-laws, their garden suites are perfect for keeping them close, but, not too close. The designs are unique. The experience of building with Timberhouse is second to none. They'll treat you like family, build you a great house or garden suite, and take care of you for years to come. Visit timberhouse.ca. Struddy.
So as I was watching the game, I too played, I was thinking about how I played against Tage Thompson's dad, Brent Thompson. And it was my second year. I don't think I've ever told this story before. It's a bit traumatic. I was in a place called Kentucky playing for the Thoroughblades. And the first year, I think I fought 23 times and I lost all the time. I was terrible. By the second year, I started to learn how to fight a bit, right? So I was taking on kind of decent fighters. Then we go to play Brent Thompson. For whatever reason, he just rattled me. I think he had a handlebar mustache, and I hate those things. So towards the end of a period, we're out together. And then the bell rings, or the horn goes, and we're there's a big scrum, but everyone's kind of coming on the ice. And I'm like, I'm going to take this chance here to fight this guy. So I kick this up a notch, kick the hornet's nest, if you will. And we're fighting, but everyone's on the ice. It was like a schoolyard in grade 3. Everyone's standing there watching us fight. And Brent Thompson proceeds to kick the turds off of me, like just hammering me. But like, I'm big and strong, so I'm not going down, but I'm just getting teed off on by this guy. And I'm getting madder and madder because I can't even get my hands up. I can't fight anything. So anyways, we both go to the ground and everyone's standing there. The refs get up. And it's bad enough to have to skate off the ice by yourself when you've been beat up and you go to the box. But now we all have to leave the ice. So the refs tell everyone, you have to let these guys get off the ice. So now I got to walk and skate by people and be like, excuse me, can I get by? Excuse me. And guys are just chirping me the whole way. Pardon me. Excuse me, everybody. Let me by. I get off the ice.
Remember me?
I was so mad. Hey, good fight, Struddy. What the fuck? I was just losing. Get in there. I was so humbled. And so every time I watch Tage play, I think of the time I challenged his dad and he absolutely destroyed me. And then I had to get off. It was so humbling.
I love his dad. His dad's a good
That's
man.
amazing.
He used to do the 3-on-3 Perry Pern every year,
Yeah.
and he would always be
Right.
out there. Yeah, but he's a good guy. But what I got out of that whole story is, where did you go to elementary school that there was fights every recess where the entire school comes out for the grade 3s to go at it? You were from a tough neighborhood.
Tough. But French school, buddy. The French people, we don't mess around. We're out for blood in grade 3 and 4. Yeah, Brent Thompson.
That's awesome.
Crazy.
Yeah. Did you ever have that fight, Struds? You know how some guys they lose a bad one and it throws their confidence for a little bit and kind of can jar them for a little bit. They got to get back on the horse. You ever have any of those moments in your career where you took a bad one and then kind of questioned things a little and had to find it again?
Oh, all the time. I got beat up all the time. But the thing is, you got to get back on the horse. Like you got to get right back in there. Like, so there's a fight I lost. Brent Thompson just beat the wheels off me. George the Rock, I think I've shared that one before. Like I may as well have just kept my gloves on. Like I didn't even think about landing a punch on that guy. But I'm like, I got to fight right away. So I'd always like, I'm going to fight right away. And I didn't get concussed against these guys. Like I could hang in there. I could take I was a little bit like Rocky when he wasn't winning. I could take the damage, but I wasn't giving any damage. And so, no pain.
I was like Rocky when he wasn't winning.
Yeah, no pain, just taking these beatings. And then I'd get back up and fight. And but because it took me a while. Like I didn't really fight in junior. I'd say it took me a good 3 years, 4 years maybe, to like at least hold my own and maybe at least give someone something back, make them think about it.
Yeah, but see, all of your fights, you can tell stories about it. I get one on Hockey Night in Canada, and every kid I've ever coached gets to watch Coach Brownie get knocked out cold at Maple Leaf Gardens. I wish I played when you did, when there was no cameras and stuff like that. All you senior
straight up
citizens
knockout,
back
Brownie?
before. Pardon?
Was it a straight up knockout?
Oh no,
Like
we threw for a while. It just he got 15 lucky punches in and really affected my standing.
No pain.
Pain. I just did a quick Google. Is that Sylvain Lefebvre? I just did a quick Google.
Yeah.
The headline is
Down Goes Brown. Yep, it is.
Lefebvre versus Brown. Okay, yeah. Oh yeah, I remember in this now. Yeah,
Pat Burns set him
you
out.
were willing, Brownie. You're swinging. Your arms aren't long enough.
Exactly. I probably shouldn't have been swinging. I probably should have been holding. I wasn't. That's how I fought, and sometimes it worked, and that time it did not work at all. I went into the dressing room afterwards, and they had the little TV at Maple Leaf Gardens. I'm watching a replay of the fight, and Michel Goulet was a healthy scratch that night. I go, Gugu, it looks like he got me in the jaw. He goes, well, that's where all the blood's coming from, so probably. And I'm like pouring blood. I didn't even notice. So yeah, good times. Good times.
You know what, Brownie?
Mad respect.
I know Sylvain Lefebvre. He never played the piano the same. He said he could never reach the far key. Never reach that far key again. Mission accomplished.
Yeah,
no pain.
Well done, Brownie.
No pain.
Struddy's World, brought to you by Timber Haas Developments. Mad respect, Brownie. You were willing, buddy. You were willing. Thanks, man. We'll talk in a couple of days. I guess we'll talk after Thursday night's game against the New Jersey Devils.
Sounds good, guys. Good night.
Bonne nuit.
All right. See you, buddy. That is Robbie Brown. Okay, before we go to break, let's get to our core Blue Liners segment, though. Want to put a focus in on a Blue Liner. Let Struddy do his thing, and that is brought to you by HSE Core Services. If you're a small to medium-sized business, they have your back when it comes to health and safety compliance, from creating and managing a tailored health and safety program, meeting all legislation and core requirements. They support client operations every step of the way. www.hsecor.com. Struds?
Rasmus Dahlin, been around, feels like he's been in this league for 20 years. Unfortunately, I don't think he's even seen the playoffs. I don't think he's even watched on TV. Captain of their team, signed the big deal. He's a really fun player to watch. I really like the way he plays. I do believe at some point if his team can get on track, he'll be in consideration for Norris Trophy. Skates well, moves the puck really quickly. Agile, pretty good defender. I don't think that's his main thing, but I think he's a pretty good defender. But it was funny, as I was watching him tonight, Shogger, I don't know what you would have seen here, but specifically when he was on the power play, I felt like he never even looked to shoot the puck. Right? He's deferring, and I get it, and I don't know that he has a bomb like Bouchard, but I'd like to see him at least look to the net to shoot it every now and then. Now maybe it was just the game we saw tonight, and maybe there's a lot of Sabres fans queued in, they can change it up. But I made the note here. I said, more aggressive on the PP on the blue line. And it's not like, you think about other guys that work that they at least get a few shots through. And I felt like he was deferring all the time to the sides.
So looking at his shot totals, he's at 142 this season. That was before tonight. 235 in 81 games last year. So I think what's that?
He does shoot it then. Maybe maybe it was an off night for him on there.
Yeah, very well could have been. But he's not on pace to shoot the puck as much as he did last year. Kind of an interesting situation with the Sabres on their blue line. Like I always wondered that trade for Bowen Byram and how that ended up making sense for them, because you got Power and you got Dali, and those are two guys you can kind of lean on either of them as your up and coming big minute munching penalty kill power play guys. So Byram, who by the way, I didn't mind Byram tonight. I like that guy's game. How about how we played McDavid in that one-on-one situation? But kind of an interesting dynamic on their blue line. It feels like some parts that maybe shouldn't all be together on the same blue line.
Yeah, it's the three of them is too much. Like Power didn't even play 20 minutes tonight. So I don't know how that's possible. You got to develop this guy. I don't know, but I think this is not even what you're talking about. But I think this offseason, they need to reevaluate everything they're doing with this team. Yeah. Everything. Yeah. Every corner.
That was Core Blue Liners, brought to you by HSE Core Services. Struds, we got enough results in to get to our scoreboard. Where's that Colorado game at right now? Too early?
Yeah.
Is it close to being done?
Yeah, I mean, the Leafs just started the second. Avalanche are tied at 0 here in end of the second. So only second.
Okay, we'll let it breathe a little bit.
4 games tonight. Yeah, 4 games tonight, and 2 are done.
Okay, well, we'll let it breathe a little bit here and see if in a few minutes we'll get to that. So instead, let's get to a break. When we come back in our Take a Lap segment, did you hear Brad Marchand today? Standing there in his Florida Panther colors, talking about his time in Boston, some pretty emotional stuff. So we'll take a lap. We'll go around the league, see what else is going on with a focus on the Panthers. Then ask us anything. Make sure you get your questions into Zuby on the live stream, and throw us a thumbs up too if you don't mind. We'd greatly appreciate that. We'll be right back.
Specializing in heavy-duty commercial truck powertrain repair, performance, tuning, and part sales, Adrenaline Diesel's professional team is ready to assist you with all of your needs, from the simplest oil changes to engine conversions, overhauls, and engine modifications. Featuring an all-new online parts store and machine shop to manufacture, replicate, or repair parts, visit adrenalinediesel.ca.
Ready to go all in this season? Mr. Dirk's got you covered with express on-site tailoring, a wide selection of craftsman-made suits, sport coats, and casual staples for every occasion. Score big with Mr. Dirk. We've always got your back. Visit us off White Ave, south of 102nd Street, or browse online at mrdirk.com.
For over 60 years, Belvedere Golf and Country Club has delivered a high-quality membership experience to Edmonton and area. And now it's even better. Drainage and irrigation improvements in 2024 have taken course conditions to a new level. This commitment to long-term sustainability means exceptional playing conditions all season long. Belvedere's tee sheet availability is unmatched, so join now and experience golf the way it was meant to be played, on your schedule. Visit BelvedereGCC.com today. Time now to take a lap, brought to you by Acon. If you're a skilled tradesperson or construction professional looking for work in Western Canada, they want to hear from you. Send your resume to trades@acon.com. That is trades@acon.com, one of Canada's original industrial contractors, building some of the largest multi-year industrial projects in Western Canada. And as I said, they are hiring skilled tradespeople, construction professionals. The email address is trades@acon.com. Forward your resume to them today. Strud, let's go to Florida.
Yeah, I have a lot of sympathy for players that play a long time in one place and then it kind of hits them, right? It's exciting to go to a new place, then it hits them that they're not on their team they've been with a long time. Brad Marchand spoke today in Florida in his Florida outfit and just about his time there and all that stuff. I really, really feel bad for him. So let's hear newest Panther, Brad Marchand.
You know, I've had an incredible run in that organization, and I'm extremely proud. How things went there. Sorry. So yeah, it was very disappointing that things didn't get done, just because obviously I love the organization. I wanted to stay there, but at the end of the day, I also know that business is business, and every player has a shelf life, and regardless if that's when we want it to be or not, sometimes there's things out of our control that dictate situations. If we were in the playoffs at that point in time, we'd probably be having a much different conversation.
I really feel for him. Now, listen, he's been around long enough to know how things work. And that's the way it is, right? They had an opportunity to make a move, and they get a conditional second that could become a first if he plays half the playoff games. I mean, that's not too bad. He's not a spring chicken anymore. I think he's maybe lost some speed. But he was such a good Bruin, man. And I don't even think he wasn't a first rounder. Wasn't he a second or third rounder? I think. No. I might be wrong, but
yeah, he wasn't a first rounder.
But anyways, like he's done a lot of things that are annoying, but you cannot deny he leaves it on the ice, man. That guy brings it all the time. And I think Bruins fans, when he does play his first game back there, they should welcome him back with great applause, because he was he's been a great NHLer, but an amazing Bruin. Amazing.
Yeah. 71st overall back in 2006. It ends up, 976 points in his 1,090 games with the Boston Bruins. The thing I respected, Struds, he started that press conference by saying, I just want to clarify, I'm not upset. I'm not mad at the owners, Mr. Jacobs and, Sweeney and Neely. He said, I'm not mad at them. So he was emotional and he wore his heart on his sleeve and he expressed disappointment for it going the way that it went. But he started the whole thing by saying, I'm not mad. I thought that was really mature. And the fact that he said every player has an expiry date, and sometimes it's not necessarily when you want it to be as a player, I think that's some pretty good introspection from him. And talk about an injection into Florida's lineup, though, man. I'm not sure, game-wise, like where he'll fit and how this will look. He's got 21 goals this season, so he's, it's not like he's doing nothing. But what an injection into their lineup.
Well, I think, and Brownie made this point the other night, he doesn't have to be the man there, right? There's lots of the man there already. Reinhart, Kachuk, although he's hurt, Barkov, they're what's his name? Verhaeghe. Like there's lots of guys that can do it. So he's further down the depth chart than he was in Boston for sure. I think that'll help him because he has other intangibles he can bring. So I don't know what his offense is going to look like, but I think those intangibles will be there. Point two, we're staying with Florida for a bombshell that was dropped today by the NHL, and then in a statement from Aaron Ekblad. So Aaron Ekblad today, it was announced he was suspended for 20 games for violating the NHLPA performance enhancing substance program. And he did a post or said something, a statement, I should say. And, it says, I've been suspended by performance. Unfortunately, I failed a random drug test. It was a shock. Ultimately, I made a mistake by taking something to help me recover from recent injuries without first checking with our proper medical team, TERP, and personnel. And he goes, I let down everybody. I'm sorry for my mistake, and I've learned from my lesson, all that, yada, yada, yada. But it is pretty incredible that this happened. Just so people know, anything you want to take, any substance you want to put into your body, protein powder off the shelf, your buddy makes a magic elixir, anything, you can give it to your trainer and they will get it tested for you to make sure you know exactly what's in there, what's legal and illegal. So obviously he didn't follow that step and took something that wasn't legal. Now, Is he guilty of taking PEDs? I don't know. I mean, he got caught, so he put something in his body, knowingly or unknowingly, and he's going to pay the price, and his team will pay the price. Luckily, Seth Jones is there, and he'll get a few more minutes nightly to fill some of that hole left by Aaron Ekblad.
Yeah, that was a tough one. 23-31. He's playing per night this season, Struds. 23-31, leading all players more than Forsling. Man, that's a tough one for them, but should be able to return in and around the start of playoffs. So yeah, tough one for the Florida Panthers, and they are the topic in both of our laps that we take here tonight. In Take a Lap, brought to you by our friends over at Acon. Zuby, you want to hop in here, buddy, and let's wrap up that poll. We were kind of picking at Oiler fans' annoyances a little bit with this poll. You were being a little trolly with it, but where did people land?
Yeah, let's wrap it up as we always do before Ask Us Anything.
Every time.
Sometimes we do that. Sometimes, depending on when the poll was started. If it started later in the show, we'll wrap it up later.
Too easy to stir that up. What aspect of the Oilers' last 10 games is bugging you the most? Overall team defense led the way with 36% of the vote. It was pretty close. Goaltending 32%, turnovers 22%, other 8%. I also have to add that Ace 96, who is a staunch, as he refers to himself, a Pickardite, was very surprised that goaltending did not come first. He thought goaltending should have been the runaway leader in there. Some of the write-in votes for other, starting over at 61, said other Bouchard. He thought Evan should have got his own spot there. RS came in with a myriad of he said other. Lack of mental toughness, misplaced overconfidence against weaker opposition, lack of finish. Lack of finish is a good one.
Wow.
Michael said sense of urgency. It was the same kind of thing last year, but when the playoff starts, it kind of went away. And Tempoyo TV says, have you seen our PK? It's horrendous. So that was a write-in vote for the penalty kill, I guess, as well. So those were a few of the others that came in that 8%.
The ability to trust forwards. We should have put that in the poll because that would have won with the passion that Struddy brought to that first segment.
You can never trust them. If you live by the idea that you can never trust a forward, you'll never be disappointed. And that is what a D-man has to live. That is the creed we live by.
Is this in life too, Struds? Like, is this just on the ice, or do you find generally forwards to be kind of untrustworthy even outside the rink?
No. Well, I find it once you get off the ice, your life isn't in their hands as much, right? Like I trust Brownie, no problem. I trust those guys, other friends of mine, they're forwards. It's just on the ice because they're just thinking about scoring, and they don't worry. They're like, those guys back there, whatever their names are, James and Jimmy, they'll stop them. Yeah, don't worry. Yeah. There's no pressure. If they make a mistake, there's 3 people behind. They're supposed to stop it, right? If we make a mistake, there's no one behind us, just the goalie.
Schwede doing a big
there's
loop.
No one
big
behind
loop out
us.
at center.
Right. Schwede.
Did you hear that? If we make a mistake, there's no one behind us. Zuby.
Yeah. Well,
just
mean,
the
as far as
goalie.
a skater. No, I mean, as far as
Can you believe
skater,
the disrespect to the goaltending?
No, that wasn't a shot at the goalie. It's just there's no one there to pick us up. Like the forwards will never be behind you to help you out. There's been one in the history of the NHL. His name was Patrice Bergeron. That's the only one.
You guys are the second last line of defense.
Yeah. There's no one there. If we screw up, it's over. There's nobody there. I would not be okay with that if I were you, Zuby. Time for Ask Us Anything, brought to you by Mortgages by Maria. Interest rates are dropping, making this the ideal time to consider consolidating your high-interest loans and credit card debt. By refinancing your mortgage, you can combine those debts into one manageable payment at a lower rate, helping you pay off debt faster and keep more money in your pocket. Contact Maria Gallus at mortgagesbymaria.ca to learn how refinancing your mortgage can help you achieve financial freedom. All right, Zuby.
All right, there's lots of talk about sort of accountability and who should sit next. There's lineup decisions to be made on the Pod Colson debate. Noel Rinsky chimed in and said, "How many poor plays has Pods made this year?" He continued to say, "So Pods got benched for a one-off mistake. I get things aren't equal, but when Bush is continually involved in mistakes, when does he get a real message sent? I would agree that I think Podkolzin, the offensive contributions haven't been there, but he hasn't made a ton of mistakes like the one he made tonight. Would you agree, Struddy?
Well, I think the coach answered that question. If you're not scoring a lot, you can't take or make those poor offensive choices that lead to goals against. And that's been 1,000 years. It's been like that in the game of hockey. The more points you get, the more chances and more mistakes you can live with on the offensive side of the puck.
And let's be honest, it's human nature. Podkolzin is an easier guy to drop the hammer on. That's just fact. And if you're a coach and you feel like you don't like the mistakes that are going on your team and you got to pick your spots and when and where to drop the hammer, it's easier to drop it on those guys than it is on your bigger guys. And I think every coach in the universe tends to lean heavier on the depth players than he does his skill guys. And so you'll probably see a little bit of that. But yeah, I would agree. He doesn't do that a tremendous amount, but even a little bit probably is too much.
Interesting thought here, I thought, from Shane Matheson. He says they're so obsessed with puck possession that sometimes the simple dump is the play and the top two lines won't do it. He adds that's why Janmark and Connor Brown never get taken out. They dump and chase but don't turn it over at the blue lines, don't score but don't get scored on. Typically, I mean, I would agree with that, but that's obviously not really the game of those top two lines when you've got the guys that carry the puck the way they do. But what do you think of that idea? Should they be doing more of that when just carrying it in isn't working, Shogger?
I think about how often we saw the puck dumped in at the Four Nations. I mean, that's the play was so tight, it was so fast, you didn't have a lot of options. But I think even the skill guys looked up Struds and saw, pretty high quality defensemen that you knew you probably weren't going to be able to beat off the rush. But yeah, I think come playoffs, the Oilers will probably have to adopt more of a dump and chase style and a willingness to do that more regularly, Struds.
Yeah, I think so. And I think in the playoffs last year, we saw it. Now, people have to understand, you're not just hammering in on a dump. What you're trying to do is usually you do it because the D-men are standing up. So you just kick it behind them. And then your center guy can drive the heels and get that puck. So you're placing it somewhere where your teammate can get it back without it being a turnover at the blue line. And I think when people think dump, they think dump and chase and we're just playing unskilled hockey. And I would challenge that you're inaccurate. That's a wrong statement.
Okay, Shimmy here, or Shimmy, echoing a few other people said something along this lines too. They looked tired after the second icing in the last minute. Maybe a timeout would have helped. Obviously, they thought they had the upper hand in that moment over Buffalo's tired guys who were stuck out there. But would you have used the timeout and tried to get the top guys fresher, even if it helped Buffalo as well, Struddy?
Yeah, I do like a reset, just say, okay, what are we doing here? Now, this team has been together a while, so I think they understand what they're trying to accomplish. But sometimes just a breather. What are we doing? What's the play? I do think it might have made sense there. I would have taken the timeout.
Yeah, I like a rested McDavid and Draisaitl, even if it's against the other team's rested best defenders. I'm fine with that. So, yeah, I would prefer those guys to be fresh as fresh can be, for sure.
CK Pon says when Frederick and Kane get into the lineup, who comes out? Let's leave Kane out of that. Let's talk about next game, what's going to happen, and then look down the line and say when Frederick is ready to go, what's going to happen as well. I mean, it's not that easy of a spot, is it, Shogger?
Well, the list will be Kapanen, Skinner. We'll see which way it goes with Podkolzin here. Those will be the obvious easier candidates are Skinner and Kapanen, Struddy.
Yeah, I think you're on to it. And as far as when Kane and Frederick come back, Max Jones is out. It's not even a question. Like they're not going to have the three of them in there. So it'll be, and not that Max can play amazing, but those two guys are further up the food chain than him and they do the similar job. So he'd unfortunately be out.
Probably should also mention, we haven't talked about Matthias Ekholm yet, and I know he's not on the trip with the team. Little banged up. I'm not sure if he's going to be joining the team. You heard the guys on the broadcast say there's a little bit of question as to whether or not, he'll be joining them or not. That's a big loss if he's not available. But at the same time, Struds, I'm perfectly fine with Matthias Ekholm being given and taking as much time as he needs to get back tip-top shape, because him trying to grind through it diminished is leading nowhere good. They need him healthy for the playoffs.
Yeah, and I wonder it's got to be an injury, I'm guessing, and he was sick for a while, so I don't know what it is, but I too would agree with you. Let's get him healthy and feeling good.
And doubling back to the previous question, there's lots of people on the stream, they want to say Connor Brown, they want to say Matthias Janmark, but are they protected just by their penalty killing ability? Is that what would keep those guys from being in that conversation?
Well, yeah, but it's not like the penalty kill's killing it, right? But I don't know that Max Jones kills penalties. I think Kapanen does kill penalties, but unfortunately for Max, that's just the way it is, right? He would be the guy coming out, and Skinner doesn't have the affection of his coaching staff. So to me, those are the two guys that would be easy targets.
Yeah.
Vane Mretzky says this has come up a lot, but let's do it again. When do we see changes to PP1? Nuge 3 giveaways on the second power play, but we did see Jake Wallman come onto PP1. I think it was a little over a minute still remaining in it. Was there something to that? Do you think there's any sense of them? No, still no.
No, Bouchard was changing, and the top unit was going to change. They just didn't all get off the ice. And the reason that Wallman came out was because Ekholm wasn't there, right? He would normally be him and Nurse on that second unit. So I don't view that as they were pulling Bouchard to put Wallman on the top unit. I think that was a natural change that was happening. And I don't think they're going to change the top unit, Struds.
No, not a chance. It's not happening.
Okay. One here for, I guess either of you guys could answer this. Bill Hampton says, they got a bunch of games in and around the New York area. Would the team stay in one New York City hotel practice rink for the whole trip and or turn it into a mini getaway, possibly bring some family? What would happen when they're in that spot for a long time, guys? Struddy?
Oh, I love the New York trip. Usually you stay right in Manhattan, and then you kind of go out, you drive out to Long Island or drive out to the Devils, whatever it is. And it's such a great time. I absolutely love this trip. And I did with the Oilers. We brought our wives one time, and they stayed with us, and that was a ton of fun. I don't know. It's kind of late in the year. I don't know if they do it now. Maybe. I haven't heard anything, but yeah, it's a really fun, special trip. And there's always more energy when you go play in New York. Like
and 2 days between games, eh? 2 days between games, like nothing Tuesday night, nothing Wednesday night, and then they play in Jersey on the Thursday night. So they got a little bit of time. Maybe have a team gathering or do something fun.
Yeah. No, and it's a short flight from Buffalo to New York, so I bet you they flew today. I don't know. I'm just guessing, but
yeah. All right, Zuby, let's do one or two more, bud, and then we'll get to our scoreboard.
Okay, this one's for you, Schauger. Machine Gun Pod Colson says, if Beauvillier got a second, was there any activity on finding Jeff Skinner a new team by management? The winger market was insane. What was there? We talked about it here lots. Was there any chatter that made you believe there was something going on there?
Yeah, the one question that we never got to with Stan was asking him if at any point he had asked any of his guys to waive their no trades. So I can't say, I don't know if at any point the Oilers had a deal and had asked Skinner if he'd be willing to waive his no trade. So I honestly, I don't know the answer to that, but they would have had to ask him to waive. My guess is that it never got to that point where they found a taker for him, but that's just my gut. Don't have that actual information. It was like the press conference was like 35 minutes and that was just one of those ones that slipped through the cracks.
Okay, and Struddy, also from Machine Gun Pods Skulls in. Struds, have you ever fought a guy you were playing against that you thought was on PEDs? LaRocque has said in the past he knew certain guys were juicing in light of today's news. Were there whispers? Did you think certain guys, any of that ever happened to you?
Oh, 100%. I'm not going to name names, but I know guys like you fight them once and you're stronger than them. You fought them the next year and it was like fighting the Hulk. Like, it's just, you're like, oh, I see. Like it was, yeah. Boy, someone really worked out. No. So yeah, for sure I did. I have no doubt. And it's scary because they were really strong. Like they got really strong. And not
maybe
that
just
I was
extra
weak,
time on the elliptical, Struts. Maybe just
a little bonus
just
time.
dug in on the elliptical a little bit.
100%. Couple extra vitamin C's, vitamin S, obviously. But yeah, no, for sure. So now the testing is more comprehensive.
Yeah. That it, Zuby? We're good now?
Oh, there's one other statement here that I think is interesting. Simple 101 says, goalies have been decent, not great, the Oilers goalies, but when your team is as flawed as this one, a lot of goals look worse than they should. We've kind of talked about this and making the game predictable for the goalies, but do you think that's an accurate statement, Struddy?
I do. I think that it's a combo. Everyone works together. So we covered the goals early. If you didn't hear it, go back and watch and listen to the beginning of the show. We covered all 3 goals. But I do think, yes, they're both sides need to shore it up, and there's a better version out there. And I have no doubt, because we've seen the better version. We've seen it.
Yeah. And expected goals is supposed to clean up some of that, right? That expected goal stat is supposed to clean up some of that sort of question about, is it team defense, right? It basically takes the quality of the shots that you face by where they come from in the situation and the number that you should save based on that. And, Skinner's expected goals are nowhere near where they were last year. His stats have fallen off quite a bit in that regard. So there are some advanced stats that would sort of, stick a little bit of a pin in that balloon. But certainly they aren't the be-all, end-all. And we've seen the Oilers bailing out on their goaltenders a lot this season. So no question, it's got to be both of them. That was Ask Us Anything, brought to you by Mortgages by Maria. Let's do our scoreboard real quick here, guys. Brought to you by Canadian Club. The 18-year-old High Proof comes in at an incredible 58%. Their highest proof CC Classic to date. Full-bodied whiskey with aromas of caramel, toffee, spicy vanilla, and a rich oak with a butter-scotch finish. Struds?
Going to go the game, which features Colorado. And officially now, Nathan MacKinnon got his 1,000th point. He passed it to Marty
He did.
And buried it in there. And that was the 1,000 points for a very, very good Hall of Fame player.
Very good. So Nathan MacKinnon finally gets that. And then what was the other, you mentioned the other result there, Struddy. What was the one that was done? There were a couple that were done as well.
So we have the Senators' huge win today over Detroit. Huge win for them. 2-1. The Red Wings had 49 shots, but could only score twice. So Allmark had a really, really good game. They need that from that guy. Obviously, the Sabres over the Oilers 3-2. Then the Maple Leafs in Utah with 7 minutes to go. It's 3-3. This game was, I believe, 2-1, 3-1 at one point for the Leafs.
Nylander, Lorentz, and Yarncroc with the goals so far for the Maple Leafs. So some depth scoring there from the Toronto Maple Leafs. All right, time to wrap up the show with our play of the day, brought to you by Gallery Dental. Take the first step towards a stress-free dental experience with modern dentistry for today's patients and the most up-to-date sedation, implants, and so much more. Contact them at gallerydentalYEG.com. You got something for this, Struddy?
Yeah, I'm going to give it to Tage Thompson. He scores 2 goals, and they were hard-working goals. The first one, he drives the net. Actually, both he drives the net. I spoke about the Oilers needing to do that. He did it. Takes a shot on the first one, drives the net, gets his rebound. The second one, grabs the puck, drives a far post upstairs. I love that when players do it because I hated it when they did it to me when I was a D-man.
Yeah. I'm going to give an honorable mention. We can't show it because it's not our broadcast. I know I'm a TSN guy, but every once in a while, you got to give some props. I thought the shtick with Gene before the game and that ridiculous faked table jump, I laughed pretty hard at that one. Struds, did you see it?
I did not see that. No, I didn't see it. I didn't turn it on.
You didn't see it in their opening? I'm just showing a bit of a screenshot here of it. So no offense on the copyright to the other guys, but I'm giving their guy props here. So he pretended to jump through that table, Struds, and they just he jumped off the ladder, and then they cut to another shot that was clearly edited of him just falling through the table. It was horrendous and terrible and ridiculous, but it was pretty damn funny. So I'll give props to our boy Gino for that one tonight. He gets honorable mention on play of the day. All right, Struddy, you brought the thunder early on, buddy. Appreciate it. Love it. Never trust the forward. Never trust the forward.
Never. You never even think about it. Don't consider it ever. Even your best friend who's a forward, you still don't trust them.
And you say this to the kids at your camps, eh? Do you drill this into their heads?
I tell them, don't trust a forward. But we don't do a ton because there aren't a lot of forwards out there. But I tell it to my own D all the time. Don't trust them. Never trust them. It's a fact. That's a fact.
I know. It's like your main rule to life. I've heard you say that more than pretty much anything else on this show. All right, Jimmy, thanks,
it
buddy.
does need to be a T-shirt. We have a couple of other T-shirt ideas too. But never trust a forward is really a great Struddy quote for a T-shirt.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, good job, guys. Thank you very much. And thanks to all of you for joining us on the live stream tonight, or if you've downloaded us and you're listening on the pod. We greatly appreciate it. Thanks so much. By the way, guys, got to meet a listener today. Bought some hats. And this was something else. So this guy's name, I got to find it now. He had an unbelievable handle. Regular listener from Lloyd, Trippet McKnight.
Ooh, jeez.
How is that for a handle, boys? Trippet McKnight.
I would think that was one of those kids in the Minnesota high school tournament. They all got names like that.
Yeah. Trippet McKnight. Nice to meet you, Trippet. Thanks for listening. And thanks to everybody else as well. We'll chat. We got our next pod is actually going to be Struddy's World, dropping on Wednesday with Struds and Jamie McLennan, 12 o'clock on our YouTube channel and on Twitter as well. And then got your back. The next main episode will be Thursday after the game against the Devils. Have a great night, everybody. See ya.